Hello, namaste. I want to talk a little bit today about how to find your purpose in life. And the first thing that I want to say is I think this is a really loaded topic. I think we're all kind of, many of us, running around being like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And it's something that holds a lot of charge for a lot of us. But our purpose doesn't necessarily have to be some grand thing. Like I think we have it in our heads. I think that today, there's such a frequent desire to be seen, be famous, leave your mark, and none of those are bad things, but it's not necessarily what we're meant to do or what most of us are meant to do with our lives. So there is a concept, for lack of a better word, that's not coming to me right now, in yoga, in Ayurveda, and they're called the gunas. And the gunas, there are three. It's not super important for this talk, but they're sattva, rajas, and tamas. And everything in nature, including the animals, including us, is a unique combination of these three gunas, okay? Like just some of us are vastly different, some just by a micro amount. And it's in this unique combination that we find our purpose, or what is known as dharma, okay? And we all have a unique dharma, a unique life purpose, a unique role to fulfill here. None of them is better and none of them is worse. That might be hard to believe, but it's true. We can get out of balance in the gunas, and that takes us further away from our purpose and how we navigate this life, or how we're meant to navigate it individually. But what I want to share with you today is how we know, right? How we know. And I'll give you a very anecdotal little example or story from my life. So I grew up in quite an intellectual family, and went through life really valuing that, and went to college and then to grad school. And by the time I got to grad school, to say it was competitive is an understatement. I was around some of the most intelligent, intellectual, book smart people I'd ever been around. And I really wanted to fit into that role. I was there, I had made it there, and I really wanted to prove that I was meant to be there. In fact, I thought that I would eventually get my PhD in economics and become an economist. I laugh now saying that. Not that that's not a beautiful thing, it is. It's just not for me, But I always kind of felt a little bit like a fraud. They'd give us incredible amounts of reading to do. And I would see people go home and just like almost eat these books, how quickly they would read them and come back and talk about it the next day in class. And I would just be sitting there and I'd be pulling it felt like pulling teeth to get through these books and to read. I later found out that Audible is the greatest gift to me. And so was going to actual lectures and interacting. And part of why that matters is I learned that that wasn't something that I had to be ashamed with, that actually I wasn't such an intellectual person, that actually um, reading and reading these really, I guess, intellectual things wasn't for me, which is what I thought I should do my whole life. And I realize now, I see now, no, of course it's not, you know? I was meant to, the reason that being in lecture and in class and engaging and interacting and um, listening to books and all these things, the reason why it works for me is because I was meant to communicate. I was meant to be with people. I was meant to share with people. I was meant to tell stories and hear stories. And that's how I learn. And that's how I remember. And that's how I gain value. And that's what makes my heart happy, you know? So I tell you that story, which is just one small example, because if we can use the signs in our life, you know, the things that we love, the things that light us up, if we can use those as guideposts and we can find a way to do more of those things, we will get closer and closer and closer to our own dharma, our own purpose. I will say it doesn't mean not doing the things ever that we don't want to do. It doesn't mean not paying the bills or anything like that, but can you do more of it? Can you do more of what lights your heart up, what makes you happy, what brings you joy? At the very least, it will make you a more joyful person. And at the very most, it will help you find out why you're here. Okay. Sending love to all. Namaste.